This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Welcome to Commentary, the video where I take your comments and make commentary about them and talk back to you as you talk to the videos. A Q&A will be happening tomorrow. This is a little bit of a different thing where I go through the comments that you put on the videos and the topics that we discussed through the week. I uploaded a ton this week, so we're just going to have to try to breeze through these. I'm sorry if your comment does not get as much time as others have in the past, but a brother uploaded like 10 times this week. So, a lot of comments to go through. All right, the first one is when the Browns restructured Deshaun Watson and kept some key players around him. Comments here were pretty interesting. Bandy 2K says some guy on Spot Track said Watson's cap conversion is awful and it bumps the cap hit to like 63 million for 24 and 26. All right, man. When it comes to Deshaun Watson stuff, understand that there are some people who are going to see this in the most cynical way possible when they know better. And that is a prime example of somebody, not Bandy, but the guy on Spot Track that he's referencing, if this is what he did say. I don't know what he's referencing from Spot Track, so I'll give the benefit of the doubt that maybe this was worded differently and misinterpreted at some point along the line. But if that's what he's saying is true, then that's just, yeah, technically true, but not really, because we know that when a contract gets restructured, it's going to continue to be restructured. Nobody says this about Pat Mahomes, even though it's technically true. Like, there are some years in Pat Mahomes' deal where that cap hit gets outrageous, but it's not really outrageous because nobody expects Pat to play under that number. Same thing happened with Ben Roethlisberger for his entire second half of his career, where the Steelers would have these cap hits moving down the road. People who have seen that, praise that, see it with Deshaun Watson and go, oh, look how stupid this is. And it's like, but they know it's going to get restructured. It's the same thing when people acted like Watson wasn't going to restructure his deal this offseason. He has guaranteed money. He's incentivized to restructure because that means he can have access to that money right now, which has incentives far off the field, right? Like, when you get that lump sum of things, it allows you to be more flexible with how you use that money, where that money gets spent, deposited, and taxed. Like, it's an incentive to Watson to restructure the deal as much as it is for the Cleveland Browns, because the money is guaranteed. You're not taking money from him. The money is guaranteed. So, yeah. Is his cap hit going to go up eventually? Sure. But also remember, the Browns are going for this year and next year, right? 23 and 24. Then they finally get their first round picks back after that. Those 2 years where they have their first round picks are probably where they're going to take Watson's cap hit at the highest, because they can eat that, restructure, or give him a new deal that's going to lower the cap number or make it a little bit more friendly or a little bit spread out throughout more years or guaranteed or whatever Watson wants to stay here. Like, they're probably going to give him a new deal around that point, after they eat one of those cap years, because that's when they will be rebuilding to reload for the second window. The Browns aren't trying to be decent every year. They're trying to be really good for 2 years, reload, and be really good for another 2 years. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. This is part of the strategy. I'm so annoyed with the amount of people within football that know these strategies that are willing to act like they don't know they exist just because they want to be upset or cover a player that they don't personally like, and for reasons that I'm not inclined to disagree with them about, but you still can't cover this game unfairly. If you know better, you say better. Just because you don't like a player don't mean that you act like something you know don't happen. And that's a prime example of what's been happening around Watson, where it's like people know better than the garbage that they're putting out, but they're putting it out there because they want people to think less and more negatively in total about Watson's situation. And that kind of thing is not helpful. If you're somebody who does not like Deshaun Watson and you're covering him in the media, it's not helpful to be unfair to him in your coverage, because now you're making people defend him who just want to be fair about the situation. And that makes him more sympathetic. So think about that the next time you think, oh, well, it's just Watson, I'll just shoot on him. I'll just crap on him and then lie about it, so that people can, dislike him, when you're just preaching to the choir. The only people you're making dislike him, continue to dislike him, are the people who already did. And you're actually making people on the fence go, you know what? I'm indifferent. That's all you're doing. You're not actually being helpful when you do that. So, you know, just a heads up to the people who keep doing that in the media. It's not really helping your cause. This video is from when the Browns signed a edge rusher. And the first comment is from Maxwell. Says people think Barry isn't aggressive because he keeps his cards close to his chest until the move is ready to be made. Some of those moves he is holding close to his chest and they're really aggressive. Yeah. Pretty much. Like, he's not the most talkative guy. He's not the most like gestury guy. He's not John Dorsey, but he is still aggressive. I mean, he's made some of the most aggressive moves in Cleveland Browns history. And we still think like John Dorsey is more aggressive than him, when John Dorsey just kind of inherited some early picks from another regime and didn't really make that many aggressive moves. Like, yeah, he traded for Jarvis Landry. Well, you know, Andrew Berry traded for a better wide receiver in Amari Cooper, a more productive wide receiver in Amari Cooper for less overall value without having to give a new deal. Like, that's a wash. Like, if we're comparing the most aggressive moves at wide receiver or just total, that's a wash. Andrew Berry washed John Dorsey in that move. You could say John Dorsey got Wyatt Teller, but Wyatt Teller didn't reach his potential until he was under the coaching staff that Andrew Berry hired. Like, how do we give John Dorsey credit for that? Because the coaching staff that John Dorsey put Wyatt Teller in was going to have Wyatt Teller out the league in a year, versus the coaching staff that Wyatt Teller was in with Bill Callahan that Andrew Berry hired. That's what made him an all-pro player. A lot of players have gotten much better than they were under John Dorsey. Than they were under John Dorsey than they are now versus Andrew Berry. It's not a coincidence. We don't give Andrew Berry credit for those. Like, people say, oh, he has no Pro Bowlers. Wyatt Teller counts as a Pro Bowler for him because he put Wyatt Teller in the right situation to thrive and become a Pro Bowler. That counts. Like, whenever people want to discredit Andrew, that's their go-to line. Wyatt Teller counts as a Pro Bowler because you know what Wyatt Teller was when John Dorsey was making the football decisions here? Just another dude. So think about that. You know what I mean? Like, I get so tired of how unfair people can be towards some things. Pepe says Abo really came into his own, given the starting job last year around week 11. He looks like he could be a problem for tackles, short with long arms. Can't wait to see what he does next to Myles Garrett. Yeah, I think the athleticism is something that's interesting. And another guy added on top of that from Rams House, who's a Rams fan, says, coming from a Rams fan, Ogbo's really solid, probably going to be great with Myles Garrett. Yeah, and I think the athletic ability is something that they're really looking forward to because that's somebody who can kind of clean up for Myles a little bit better. All right, this is when the Browns signed Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle of the night. Thank you, Andrew Berry, for that. One of the comments said, it makes total sense that AB was strongly taking into account what his coordinators want since they have to work with them on the field. Unfortunately, there's an insane amount of anti-AB fervor from some Browns that the simple notion is flowing over their head. Look, some Browns fans don't like Andrew Berry because they don't like what the Browns have put out on the field and they need somebody to blame. And I don't blame them for that, right? If Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski want nothing but the utmost praise from all Browns fans, they do need to win football games. But if we want to sit here and have an individual in separate conversation from the record of the job that Andrew Berry has done, then I think you have to be objective in that, say Andrew Berry's done a good job. But if you're just frustrated at the Browns total because they haven't won, like, I'm not blaming you for being mad. I'm mad. I'm frustrated with this team and the lack of success versus what they should be doing based on what this roster has looked like. But I'm not blaming AB for that. I think there were some missteps there with some of the staff under Kevin Stefanski, but we'll see this year because if they don't win, ain't none of this going to matter because everybody going to be gone. Right. The next comment is from Always Return something. Man, I don't know. That feels like it's going to be inappropriate. I'm hoping for 2 more additions at free safety. Oh, he called it, right? Julian Love at Thornhill. We got Thornhill, would be nice. Maybe a bit pricey there elsewhere. And Denzel Perryman, who would be nice. We didn't get Denzel Perryman yet, but the man called Juan Thornhill. So I just wanted to shout that out. This is a video where I was reacting to your TikToks from Browns World. And the one TikTok on there that really chapped my ass was this dude talking about how he could throw for 10 yards in an NFL game. And I don't know why fans think they can do this. And maybe you were a little bit of an athlete in high school. Hell, maybe you played some Division III football non-scholarship. But I promise you this, if you are not a scholarship level athlete, a Division I scholarship level athlete, at football or basketball or maybe even baseball, right? If you were not a major, like softball, like something in there, like a Division I athlete, you are not doing anything in the NFL. You're not getting 10 yards on the ground, in the air. You are not doing anything. I don't know if this is a thing of where people haven't been exposed in close contact to people who are that athletic, but that's what got it all out of me, right? All my delusions that I could do something in the NFL, all of that got erased when I went to college and some of my friends were on the football team or on the track team or on the basketball team. And I got to see how athletic a Division I athlete is at everything and how much better they are at everything that I do. That's when I realized, oh yeah, I ain't got it, because that's Youngstown State. And these dudes are this much more athletic. Imagine what it's like at Ohio State. And then imagine what it's like in the NFL. Insane. Insane. I always say this. Derek Rivers was one of the best football players I've ever seen up close and personal in my life. I watched every game Derek Rivers played in college. He was a 3rd round pick in the NFL, and he's bounced around teams, can't find somewhere to play. Derek Rivers was amazing in college. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how much better all of these dudes are than us at football. And to think that we're going to exist in the 15-minute quarter, that was crazy. And Buckeye Steve said my favorite part of the TikTok was dudes talk about 15-minute quarters as if an average person could survive past the first. Yes, dude, you're not surviving the first hit. The first time you get knocked to the ground, you might not get up. They are so much better at football than us, man. They are so much better at football than us. I don't think we understand this. They are so much better at football than us. Even them dudes in the XFL are so much better at football than you ever were. Like, unless you were like a Division I athlete somewhere, a legit Division I athlete, then I have a hard time listening to any of this from anybody. And like, the people who be talking about this ain't the Division I athletes. The Division I athletes that I know that did not make it to the pros, they understand that there is a difference between them and the pros. These aren't the dudes that I worry about talking about they could do something in the NFL. No, these guys are pretty aware of where they are at. It's not even them. It's dudes who have less athletic experience than anybody talking the most as if they could do it. And I blame Madden. Madden got these people thinking they could play football because they could do it on the game. And that's just crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. Like, no, you cannot get 10 passing yards in the NFL. I promise you, you couldn't. I promise you, you couldn't. Some of y'all don't know the difference between prevent and cover 2. You're not getting 10 yards. Wolf C72 says, Q, I realize you pump out a ton of content, but make this part of your regular. I might. Y'all like seeing me get irritated at people saying dumb things. So I might roll it out there every once in a while, but for my own mental health, I don't need to be reading and hearing all of this. Adam says, Q, thank you for uploading the video so the Browns could announce Juan Thornhill. I literally uploaded that video, went on with the rest of my day because I had other stuff planned. And then I came back home, woke up the next morning, and then I found out the Browns signed Juan Thornhill, and I had to make a video, right? So a brother thought he was clear out. You know what I mean? Made that video at 5 o'clock on the dot, uploaded it at 6 just in case something came up. Went out for the rest of the day, enjoyed my night. Came back, woke up in the morning and was like, damn, they did something after I left. Andrew Berry is trying to spite me. Brown signed Juan Thornhill. That was a video. Let's look at some of the comments here. Can't believe people in his fan base have talked themselves into the thought that AB and Stefanski are bad. Look, as much as people like are critical of AB and Stefanski, it is good that there's enough people defending him to where like that's not the dominant opinion of AB and Stefanski. So at least we have that, right? Like, as many times as you hear something stupid, there's enough people willing to say, hey, that's stupid, to make me feel comfortable that the dominant opinion is not the stupid opinion. But hey, maybe I'm just in a bubble. The Browns signed 2 more defensive tackles. Let's look at the comments there. Q, I got a question for you. I know it's still early in free agency, but are you thinking this is going to change how they're going to attack in the draft? I'm leaning now that the 2nd round pick with these moves are more towards a wide receiver or edge. Just if you get an edge in the second, Ogbo, MG, AW would be nice for the rotation position, best wide receiver available, let me know. I think still that they're fluid at that spot. They could trade back. They could trade up. If they see a player they really like there, they'll take them. I think they're going best player available, and I don't think the position is really locked to anything that they did or did not do in free agency. I don't think they're thinking like that. I think they're thinking, hey, we want to add a great prospect this year. We want to add a great prospect, and 44 is the best place to do it for them this year because they don't have any other picks. But if 44 does not make any more sense, maybe they might trade back. I don't like trading back. I'd rather pick at 42. My bad, 42. But you know, I think they'll pick, if they feel like one of their guys is there, they'll pick them. But I think it's still best player available all the way. I don't think they're locked into any position. Face Disabler says, Q putting out 2 videos and doing a talk show today all over my damn feed. Keep up the good work. Brother, I'd be tired on Thursdays, man. We used to do AFC North talk on Thursdays too. I would do a video, sometimes 2 videos during the season, AFC North talk and Cleveland. I would be tired. I don't know how Stephen A be doing it. Like, you don't be thinking that making these videos and talking about the Browns and all the work that goes in behind the scenes is like physically like laboring work, because it's not like working at a factory where you're like lifting up heavy stuff and you're physically exerting yourself at a high level. And mentally, that's how I think about it. But this is exhausting to do. Like, it is exhausting. I've done very laborious work before, and honestly, like the labor, like the living thing and all that, like I can get energy from that. I'm a little bit different in how I get my energy. I like to do workouts and stuff to get energy, and the more labor filled jobs, like I walk away with a little bit more energy from doing that. But this stuff where I'm sitting down, got to do a lot of like emailing and talking, it's tough. Like, them live streams are exhausting. I cannot explain it. It makes me feel weird that I'd be like just as exhausted from doing a 3-hour live stream as I would if I played basketball for like 5 hours. And honestly, sometimes I'm not even that tired from playing basketball for 5 hours. Like, it's really weird. It's exhausting in a different way. A brother be tired, but I enjoy doing it. So that's why I continue to do it. And that's why I like putting out the content, and I enjoy that y'all continue to watch it, because the viewership this week has been amazing. I think we hit a new high. So I'm appreciative of all of that. And thank you for checking in with me. Brown signed a new tight end. Another comment here says we need some linebackers. All of ours are hurt or coming off injury. Man, maybe I'll sound like an asshole at the end of the season. I'm just not that worried about linebacker. I think they'll be fine. Dom says they need to be unafraid of signing vets. The roster can be entirely project players. We need difference makers. I think that they need to kind of understand at this point that they're at the point to where signing veteran players could be very helpful for them. But that's it for the commentary. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. Have even better.